Hello and welcome to Sports News Africa, the home of Africa's sporting conversation. Let's take a look at the headlines. Cranes were downed in an upset by Togo. The Desert Foxes of Algeria prepare for Flames of Malawi. Following their loss to Poland, the Germans are out to prove a point. Thank you for watching Sports News Africa. I'm Ehi Alongi. The return fixtures in the AFCON qualifiers are coming up across the continent on Wednesday, and teams will be seeking either redemption or reinforcement of their performances against the same opponents faced at the weekend. In the case of Togo, their challenge will be to repeat their shock victory over the Cranes in Uganda. Let's see how the fans and players reacted to Saturday's game.
Expectations were high for thousands of fans in Uganda who marched to Namboole Stadium in the capital, Kampala, to watch their national team, Uganda Cranes, face off against Sparrowhawks of Togo. Finally, when the march started after the usual pleasantries had been exchanged, the Cranes wasted no time starting the game aggressively. Despite concerted efforts by both teams, none could score in the early minutes of the first half. However, with 15 minutes remaining before the end of the first half, Sparrowhawks striker Dunu Koku netted his side's first goal. A setback for the Cranes, who were now forced to revert to a defensive game to avert further scores. The few Cranes' sporadic attacks were also unable to break through the Hawks' tough defense line through the remaining part of the match. And at the end of the match, the final score was 1-0. Emmanuel Adebayo, who led the Sparrowhawks' onslaught, acknowledged the fact that the Cranes were not an easy walkover.
Came here today being a little bit afraid, obviously. We know it's going to be very hard, it's going to be very difficult, and we are the last in our group stage, and we tried to be focused on our gameplay well. Our defense was very solid, and once again, everything is open now. They have a chance to go through, we have a chance to go through. Ghana still have a chance to go through. I don't know about Guinea, but at the end of the day, we just have to keep going, keep playing football.
Uganda is placed in Group E with 4 points, while Togo is at the bottom with 3 points. Ghana leads with 5 points, followed by Guinea with 4, but has a great goal difference compared to Uganda. For the last 10 years, the Cranes have had an exemplary unbeaten home record since 2004, when they were beaten by South Africa. Fans like Samuel Balikudembe blamed the loss on the Cranes coach for not fielding the more experienced players.
Well, it was sad we lost, and I think our boys didn't put much as we expected. Body language was not good, and then of course, us being at home, we felt that the fans, there is no way you play one striker when you're at home, and most of the guys were on the bench. You had Omoin there, you had Diego Kiza, so they all didn't come on the first half. So it was really sad that we lost.
John Deng, also a fan, predicts Wednesday's return match in Togo will be equally difficult for the Cranes.
Well, the game is kind of hurting. You know, Uganda, it's first time Uganda has been beaten at home. So everybody is sad. You can just see, even me myself, I never wanted Uganda to lose, but then it went the way it went. So I think they will do next week, Tuesday. But I think it's going to be a hard game because traveling and get a win in people's soil is somehow difficult to get.
It is, however, not the end of the road for both teams, as they still have a chance to qualify for the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations if they win their 3 remaining matches. They are expected to have a return match on Wednesday in Lome, Togo. The Cranes will also be playing against the Black Stars of Ghana on the 15th of next month.
Zambia captain Chris Katongo has been thrown out of the Chipolo Polo squad that is preparing to take on Niger in a 2015 AFCON tie on Wednesday. Katongo, the 2012 winning captain, came on as a substitute in the 76th minute on Saturday as Zambia drew 0-0 in Niger in a game which both sides needed to win.
It is a match Niger had been preparing for quite some time, and their aim was to humble Zambia, the 2012 Africa Cup of Nations champions. The kickoff on Saturday was pretty much under the sweltering afternoon heat in the capital Niamey, where both teams set off to battle for points in the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. Zambia's Chipolopolo, who are usually quick on the ball, found themselves struggling to contain the play in the opening minutes. On the other hand, the Niger team, fired by the home fan base, put up a spirited performance but missed several scoring opportunities. In the middle of the first half, Chipolopolo found their footing and dominated ball possession during the rest of the game, but Niger's defense proved impregnable, denying them goals. The final whistle saw the game end in a goalless draw.
Niger is not an easy team, it's a good team. But of course, the stage at which we are, we expected to get 3 points. But getting 1 point from here, you can see the weather is challenging, but we wanted to get 3 points. But we couldn't put the ball behind the net. We have to hit the upright post, and Niger also came, but it's quite a tough game.
Nigerian coach Janot Raw was uneasy with the outcome of the game, knowing very well the task ahead on the return match in Lusaka.
Now in the ratings, we're still at 2 points with Zambia, and we're very conscious that to qualify, we will have to land a good result next week in Zambia.
With Mozambique beating Cape Verde 2-0 in Maputo, both Niger and Zambia missed a great chance to reduce the gap on the islanders. Cape Verde maintains a lead in Group F with 6 points, followed by Mozambique with 5, while Zambia and Niger tie with 2 points each.
Not only did the match between Cameroon and Sierra Leone have to be played in Yaoundé to help with the Ebola containment strategies in place across West Africa, the Leonians also had to contend with a new head coach. And the latest development in the row between the country's Football Association and Sports Ministry over who is qualified to be the coach, former Leone Stars international Cisse, 52-year-old, was appointed by the FA after it rejected the ministry's suggestion of Atta Mensah on the grounds that it believes he did not have the correct coaching licenses. The team performed better than expected, however, in the first of their doubleheader against Cameroon.
The mood in stadium in Yaoundé was tense over the weekend as Cameroon's indomitable Lions took on Sierra Leone Stars in their 2015 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. The fans who turned up for the match had high expectations and hoped to see the Lions tame Sierra Leone Stars once and for all, but instead they were in for a shock. Right after kickoff, it was clear the informed Lions were going to have to contend with stubborn Stars. Cameroonian fans had expected the deadly attacking duo of Clinton Njie and Vincent Abubakar would maintain their scoring streak and bring down the Stars, but that did not happen. Instead, the Lions stumbled along throughout the match, missing valuable scoring chances.
I think Cameroonians were expecting a lot, but Sierra Leone is not a team we've played for a long time, and that's also the mark of a big team. I mean, Cameroon as a big team, they should expect to be disturbed by a very small country like Sierra Leone, especially all the other problems they have which does not concern football.
It's playing like they were joking. I didn't see that before, because last time they played very good, they was very strong. Now today they was joking like with the players. I don't know what was going on with them.
The outcome of the match is, however, a boost to Sierra Leone, who have been battling a stigma associated with the deadly Ebola virus after a recent outbreak killed more than 3,500 people in 4 West African countries. Umaru Bangura, captain of Sierra Leone, said his team's mission had been accomplished.
We came here to get points, and indeed we go to the field and we get our points, so that's the most important thing. So I think we do a good job today.
His Cameroonian counterpart, Stéphane Mbia, was not happy with the results of the match.
We are now rebuilding the team, and it takes time. You have to take it match after match. We knew that this match will be difficult. We were facing quite a good team that brought problems to Ivory Coast. They came here, played as a block, but they had trouble going through the first half. In the second half, we had opportunities to score. The most important for us is to have grabbed this point and to plan for the next match, since now we know our opponents.
Cameroon face Sierra Leone again on Wednesday in the return match, which will be played in Yaoundé instead of Conakry over fears of the Ebola virus. Cameroon leads Group D with 7 points, followed closely by Ivory Coast with 6, Democratic Republic of Congo 3, and Sierra Leone is at the bottom with 1 point.
Africa's #1 team, the Desert Foxes of Algeria, have made no secret of the fact they aim to win AFCON 2015 outright. Judging by the pace at which they have raced through the qualifiers, theirs was not an empty promise. The organizer of the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations says there are no changes to the dates or schedule, despite a request from host Morocco to postpone. Morocco's government has written to the Confederation of African Football to delay the 17 January to 8 February event because of the Ebola outbreak. CAF said it would discuss a request at the next meeting of its executive committee on the 2nd of November, and its president, Issa Hayatou, will meet Moroccan officials the next day. Around 4,000 people have died in the Ebola epidemic that broke out in West Africa at the start of the year. The Morocco Health Ministry made its plea on Friday in the wake of its decision to avoid events which involve those countries affected by the Ebola virus. On Saturday, CAF responded in a statement that read, CAF has registered the request and wishes to state that there are no changes of the schedules of its competitions and events. It must be noted, the statement went on, that since the first edition in 1957, the Africa Cup of Nations has never witnessed a deferral or a change in schedule. CAF has also been cautious since the commencement of the final round qualifiers of the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations on the health risks posed by the Ebola virus and has consistently applied precautionary principles, taking into account the recommendations of the World Health Organization and various medical experts. To the women's AFCON tournament in Namibia now, and favourites Nigeria, who have won the title a record 6 times, are hoping to become the first team to qualify for the semis when they face Zambia in their Group A Day 2 clash on Tuesday at the Sam Nujoma Stadium. Despite observers remaining unconvinced despite 4 goals scored in a win against Les Elephants of Ivory Coast, Nigeria coach Edwin Okon says his side will be up to the task against the Zambians, who suffered a 2-0 loss to host Namibia in the tournament opener. And the hosts will face Côte d'Ivoire in the other Group A match later at the same venue. The Brave Gladiators will almost wrap up their place for the second stage of the competition by snatching the maximum points at the expense of Les Elephants, already wounded after a 4-2 loss to Nigeria in their opener last Saturday. The encounter represents the stiffest test thus far for the young Namibian team, who boosted local interest in the tournament following their 2-0 win in the tournament opener, a result that also boosted their chances of semi-final qualification. A young female boxer is fighting for her life in hospital after being knocked out in a professional bout in South Africa. Vindile Mwelase underwent surgery at the Steve Biko Academic Hospital in Pretoria late yesterday to stem bleeding in the brain. She had been in a coma since falling to the canvas after being caught by a single right-handed punch in the 6th round of a match in Pretoria on Friday night. A doctor at Steve Biko Academy Hospital said a blood vessel in Mwelase's brain had burst, causing severe swelling. Her injuries are the most serious to a female boxer in the country. The first female boxing professional bout in South Africa in 2007 involves 2 foreigners, Layla Ali of the US and Gwendolyn O'Neill of Guyana. Bongani Magasela is a writer at The Sowetan, a popular South African newspaper, and he joins us now on Skype to give us more about the story. Bongani, can you tell us, please, what is the latest update on her condition?
Her condition has deteriorated to a point where the nurse who actually spoke to me and asked for to remain anonymous, that anything is possible. Basically, their biggest concern is that her pressure keeps going up instead of going down. And as a result, there is no circulation of blood to her brains.
Okay, a bit of a general picture now, but how popular is boxing in South Africa?
Well, it's not that popular. You must bear in mind that it only began happening in 2007. It was incepted in 2006, but because South Africa did not have fighters then, so, it had to start a year later. But it's getting there. It's just that, we do not have, as a country, we do not have enough female. Having said that, we have at least managed to produce world champions. I'm talking credible world champions like Noni Tenge, who won the IPF title in 2009. Sorry, in 2011. So it's getting there.
Okay, now, and how will this particular incident affect the future of female boxing in South Africa?
This is going to be scary to them considering that this is the first of its kind, This has happened to male fighters, to female fighters, it's something new. But as fighters, combatants, they know that these things do happen in boxing. So it's just a question of taking precautions and make sure, and obviously, the boxing administrators make sure that things are done accordingly, in terms of safety for all the fighters.
Okay, thank you, Bognani. And that's the end of Sports News Africa for today. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you all the latest from Africa and around the world. Bye for now.